Control is a game developed by Remedy that, for the longest time, I blamed for the fact that I never got a proper Alan Wake sequel that I wanted for so long. It always seemed like they were going to announce a sequel as they teased a game full of mystery and intrigue with people possessed by a supernatural force, but then, as more details came in, it became apparent that the sequel I so desired was not meant to be, and thus Control was born. You know what? I'm perfectly happy with this, and running around the Federal Bureau of Control as Jesse instead of around Bright Falls as my boy Alan was a compromise I was willing to make. I did not like Control to begin with. I found the gunplay to feel a little bit basic and boring. I just couldn't gel with the game on a narrative level either. However, as I continued to play, I found that I was unable to put the game down and think about anything else once I stopped. The game is filled with such a level of mystery and intrigue that once it had its hooks in me, I just wouldn't let go. I'm not going to describe much of the story to you because knowing very little about the game is what was best for me, and as I say, the entire premise is based on mystery and intrigue, so there's not a chance I'm going to spoil the experience for you. I will, however, describe the basics from the first hour or so. You take control of Jessie, the newly appointed director of the Federal Bureau of Control. She doesn't want to be the director, but she's been forced into this position due to circumstances surrounding the game. The Bureau itself is found inside the oldest house, a somewhat magical house that the government uses to discover and research the paranormal. As Jessie arrives, it's found that something called the Hiss has gotten loose within the Bureau and is possessing everyone inside, except for the people who are equipped to handle it and Jessie herself. Then, as you'd expect, Jessie tries to find out the whys and discover more about herself and the voice inside her head. Of course there's a voice inside her head. This is about as much as I'm comfortable explaining to you without ruining anything of the game. I will say that it has been years since the game's story has had me so invested that I even read through all the various documents I picked up as I went through the game. Anyone who knows me will know that I normally just skip reading these. Oh, and you know how I said the gunplay was a little bit flat? Completely forget that. As I unlocked more powers and upgrades from the game's skill tree system or the various objects of power, more on this later, I felt that the game was deeper than I ever gave it any credit for, and I will always give a game an additional bit of credit when it lets me pick up the scenery and chuck it at enemies with a satisfying thunk. Control uses a basic skill tree system to allow Jessie to level up her powers and unlock access to new weapon mods as we progress. There's nothing special in the way of this, but it gets the job done. Unlocking new powers, however, is done using the game's objects of power that I mentioned above, which are tied directly into the narrative and gives Jessie her reason for exploring that bit deeper into the Bureau and unlock new powers. Control is a game that's not going to please everyone. Gameplay wise, it is far from perfect, but I have found that the game's narrative was so good that I honestly do not care about the gameplay in the slightest. It's a similar thing to that I had with Vampire recently, in that I was there for the story, not the gameplay. Saying this though, whilst basic, I did find the powers to be super fun to use. Visually, Control is absolutely stunning. It blends together a mix of CG and real-world actors in order to tell its story, and whilst this has always been a really jarring experience in other titles, it's done in such a way that it works perfectly for Control. Enemy design is used to add mysteries so well that I found myself trying to get as close to enemies in the initial instance just to see the subtleties of the design features on the faces of my foes. This often led to my death. Control has me so deeply invested now that once I got past the initial slow start I was unable to put it down. All I want to do is progress further through the Bureau and find out all the mysteries that lie in wait for me. I appreciate that Control isn't going to please everyone, but for this reviewer the game comfortably sits at a 9 out of 10. This is based purely on the story. Control achieves everything it sets out to do, and that's why I am happy to overlook some of the game's tiny issues and rate this game so highly just based on my experience.
They call me the director, but that's not me. I'm not a director type, not a leader. Why am I here? I think you already know.
Thank you for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, make sure to check out our other videos right here on Respawning's YouTube channel. Also, for all the latest news and reviews, make sure to check out respawning.co.uk. And if you're feeling generous, please take a look at our Patreon page at patreon.com/respawning. Anything you can give helps us out a lot and we would much appreciate it. Until next time, take care.